Have you heard yourself or someone else say, I'm just too empathic to be around people? I myself have had this story. So as an empath, I empathize. But I hear it so often. And I want to address this because our empathy is meant to be a superpower, not a curse. And we need to learn how to manage it. So here's the deal. I'm sure if you say you're an empath, that you are feeling absolutely everything. As an empath myself, I can empathize. So, someone could walk past me back in the day in a bad mood and I'd be on the floor or needing to run out of the store immediately because I was having an anxiety and panic attack. But when you tell yourself and anyone who comes close, it's not me, it's my gift, I'm just energetically sensitive. However, here's the thing no one wants to say out loud. Sometimes it's not a gift. Sometimes it's a lack of, it's not the gift of being empathic. Sometimes it's a lack of boundaries, nervous system burnout, or having zero discernment. Being empathic doesn't mean you have to sponge everything in your field. No. That's like the old paradigm way of what we did with our empathic gift. And that's not a gift. That's hypervigilance dressed as divine intuition. Our lesson as empaths is to be in it, whatever it is, but not let it be in you. Let me repeat that. Learn how to be in it, but not let it be in you. We've created this cultural script in spiritual spaces, like if I'm overwhelmed, it's because I'm spiritually advanced. If I can't be around people, it's because my vibration is too high. And if I'm always drained, it must mean that I'm doing sacred work. No. In those scenarios, we're underprotected and overstimulated. We don't have to be a martyr in our empathy. Typically we're just energetically leaking and we're calling it holy. And so what we really mean when we say these things is I haven't learned how to say no without guilt. I haven't yet built the inner scaffolding to hold my own energy when someone else is struggling. I'm scared I'll get swallowed by their chaos because I haven't fully claimed my own center yet. And maybe you just don't know how to say that. Maybe we think it's rude. Maybe, oh my God, I can't say that. I can't say that. And I would challenge you to ask, why can't you say that? Isn't it more honest? So instead, we just say I'm too empathic to be around people. And, we tend to leave the gathering, run away, go back into isolation. Being empathic means having the capacity to feel deeply, not the obligation to collapse under the weight of everyone else's thoughts, feelings, energies, and vibrations. And, the real mystery of an empath is not in how much you absorb, but in how well you discern what's yours, what's not, and what actually deserves your attention. You're stuck in a spiritual bypass when you use your empathy as a reason to isolate. You're always tired, but never resting in a way that actually restores you. You refuse to build boundaries because you're scared it makes you less spiritual or unkind. Spirituality doesn't mean sacrifice. You expect the world to kind of dim for you instead of learning to strengthen your own light. And that's not embodiment, that's collapse and sacred clothing with your mala beads and your crystals. Empathy without boundaries is trauma and reenactment. It's your inner child still trying to manage the room, keep the peace and fix the energy. Empathy with boundaries is sacred leadership. It knows when to soften and when to shield. It chooses presence over performance. It honors your sensitivity as a strength and protects your system like it matters, because it does. I once had a student say, I can't be around people because I pick up too much. And I asked, do you pick it up or do you invite it in without realizing? Sacred pause. We're not the victims of frequency. We are co-creators of our field. We can learn how to hold that with sacred authority, not helpless absorption. In doing so, we can bypass self-importance. So here's the sacred reframe. Instead of I'm too empathic for people, try I feel deeply. And I'm learning how to protect my energy with love and clarity. Or I honor my capacity and choose where to engage, not from fear, but from wisdom. Or I'm no longer available for environments that drain me, but I no longer abandon myself in the process either. Final word for the Holy Sponge Brigade. Yes, you're sensitive. Yes, you're tuned in. Yes, your nervous system is built like a harp in a thunderstorm, but you're not here to suffer for your gifts. You're here to steward them, to honor them, to wield them with grace, not martyrdom and self-importance. We don't have to isolate to protect our energy. We have to learn to manage it. We have to learn to manage it. So that's where the work lies. Strengthen your light. Strengthen your energetic boundaries and your personal boundaries. Learn to discern what's yours, what's not, and what to focus on. Our energy is our own, and only we can wield it with great authority and sovereignty. Your gift of empathy is just that. It is a sacred gift. And if it's not feeling like it, start to do some inquiry about how you might be hiding behind this narrative.